Hey, this is Matthew. Welcome back to Nerd News Today, and it's time for another statue unboxing and review. And today we've got another, hopefully, great piece from Diamond Select here as part of their Marvel Gallery Diorama series. Today we're taking a look at their newest piece on Mysterio. This PVC figure diorama resembles very much the old Steve Ditko style Mysterio back when he first debuted, which is a look that I really like for the character. It stands out quite a bit, it's really unique compared to a lot of other villains, and has aged surprisingly well for a design that's kind of dated and weird. But how well does that translate into statue form? Well, we're going to find out today. So first things first, let's talk about the box that this PVC figure diorama statue comes in, and it's your typical Diamond Select box. You guys can see here it's got a very large window display on the front. On each side we have a window to take a peek into the packaging. And of course on top we have the signature Diamond Select sunroof. Even the font for the character's name, by the way, on the front of the box looks a lot like the 1960s Spider-Man comics. And even the blue to white transition here, it looks kind of like faded and older, and that really helps kind of date this piece a little bit in a real modern way. The back of the packaging has a really nice photo of the statue, as well as a very brief bio about Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio. And this bio for Mysterio is only 2 sentences long, but they make the most out of those 2 sentences for sure. And it also lets us know that this piece was designed by Caesar and sculpted by Alterton, who I think are really one of my favorite teams and easily the dynamic duo of Diamond Select statues. But of course, we're not mint on box collectors here when it comes to statues. I don't really know anybody who is. So let's go ahead and bust Mysterio loose and take a look at him from all angles. And we're back, and here is our Mysterio now out of the packaging. He looks very cool, and of course you guys will notice that there is no green screen action going on with us today because Mysterio is really green, as you can see. So yeah, we're going to just keep this little vanilla today. But yeah, let us begin talking about Mysterio. Well, normally we would talk about the likeness, but there isn't exactly a likeness here. It's just this bubble helmet that he has, the fishbowl that Mysterio has always had. And it's really cool. It's actually made from a little bit of a different type of material, so you can see it's a little bit reflective. You can see actually the lights I have in the studio and popping up in the bubble there. It's this really cool kind of milky, translucent look on it. It's very mysterious, very good choice. I like that a lot. But yeah, other than that, there's no actual likeness to talk about. And with no likeness, we have to really focus on the outfit and a lot of other sculpting elements here. And they've made some really excellent choices here with the sculpting. Now, Mysterio's outfit was always very unique, as I said at the start of this video here, and it's got that pattern on it. Well, they found a way to make that pattern a little bit more three-dimensional and a little bit more visually interesting. So it's actually carved into it, you can see here. It's basically its own texture. And within these larger kind of squares that are cut all across the outfit, there's also this kind of weathering effect on them because it's not just a straight, flat square it's on them. There's some texture in all the different pieces here, so that, yeah, it's really a lot more to it. There's a lot more tactile feeling to the statue than initially expected. And that goes the same for his gauntlets up here too, which you guys can see have very nice little designs carved into them. I really like those gloves. I think that's actually one of the things I always liked the best about Mysterio was his gloves, because they're just so theatrical. I guess that's the word for it. That makes sense, because this is Quentin Beck after all. He's very much a drama king. So it makes sense that of course he'd have gloves that are a little bit extra. But really, his whole outfit is a little bit extra. I mean, we've got these 2 eyeballs here that are on top of his cape. And yeah, I really love this cloak, this cape here, because it's got excellent folds, really great sculpting there. I want to show you guys the back of the piece too. You know, I love a good cape, and this one is no exception. Again, really lovely, excellent anatomical choices here to make this look like it's draped across his shoulders in the middle of a scene of him doing something. It feels very realistic. It's sculpted very realistically, and the paint job matches it too, the way they've chosen to kind of use the 3 tones here. You've got your base color, of course you've got your highlights in this part in particular, and on the certain parts of the cloth here, and then the recesses, it's a little bit darker, a little bit of a darker airbrush wash, if you will. So it's added a lot of dimension to otherwise a very flat kind of piece, and I love it. I think the cape is really awesome looking. Of course, we can't talk about this piece for very long without discussing this base, and I think the base is more so the main event here than anything else. So you guys can see here this base, it's kind of this green plume of smoke that's coming out, but it's not just smoke. There's a little monster hanging out over here, there's some tentacles hanging out on this part of the base, there's like, looks like a tongue or an arm or something over here. There's a lot going on in this base. So it's not just like, let's say, the Mr. Sinister piece we looked at some time ago that had a green base also, and that was a green smoky base, and we even talked about it being a lot like a Mysterio piece. But, well, in this case, this is what a Mysterio base will actually look like, and it's not just green smoke, it's green smoke with illusions inside of it. So I think that's really awesome. I always enjoy those transparent green parts here like we're seeing in the statue here. And this looks really good. I wasn't really actually expecting it to be like this. In fact, when I looked at it in the box, I didn't realize it actually was this. I didn't pay much attention to the photo on the back of it either. So yeah, I didn't even notice there actually was this kind of monster hidden inside it. So I really am enjoying that as well. On all sides too, it just looks really cool. It's slimy, it's smoky, it's mysterious. So it's Mysterio, that's for sure. But very good base. So the thing about a Mysterio piece is, what the heck do I talk about? Because, well, we've kind of covered all the major points here. We've covered the likeness, so the fact that there is none. The outfit is very much simple because it's the 60s style outfit, so there's really not a lot to discuss differently about it. And the smoke base, I think I just spent the most amount of time on. So I think the real focus of this piece is kind of how all these elements tie together, and that comes in the pose of this piece. And again, Mysterio being very theatrical, they went with a very theatrical pose that might not be necessarily as dynamic as another character. You know, this isn't exactly the Marvel way, if you will, to show some action. They're not showing at the height of action for a punch or a kick. In this case, the height of action for Mysterio is him doing his wicked hand pose here, showing off he's got his powers, being all, ooh, look at me, I'm on stage. You know how drama kids are. No offense, drama kids. So that's what they've done here, and they've had to find a way to make that kind of dynamic and interesting, and I think they've pulled it off. You know, the pose itself, again, it's not really that exciting, but what they've done with everything else in the piece is draw your eye into it and draw you into it. So the way they've done that is with the cape here. You can see the cape overflows his shoulders, goes down, forces your eyes down into the base, which again brings you back up because of the tentacles. So you're automatically going to be stuck in this part here, which is basically the head to the hands, because that is the most interesting part of the statue. And everything they've done design-wise perfectly tells you where to look, where to go, and makes this feel more immense and more interesting. So from an artist's point of view, and even from a statue hitter's point of view, it's a very good, very well thought out piece for a character that I think is pretty interesting. And, you know, again, there's not a lot you can do with Mysterio, as weird as it sounds. You know, he's a guy that creates illusions, but the core of the character is what people want to buy in statue form, and typically you're going to get these hands and this kind of similar pose. But the things they did with the base, with the cape, with the hands, the eyes, the paint job, everything they've done here helps make sure to make this a little bit more visually interesting and different for you. I do like Mysterio a lot, and I think if you're a Spider-Man fan and you like Mysterio, this is absolutely a solid piece to get to add to your collection of statues. To be quite honest, I have no complaints. It's kind of a perfect statue in a lot of ways. While it might not be the most interesting character necessarily, or even the most exotic looking pose or unique pose, it very much reads like Mysterio immediately. It tells you everything about the character. It has all of the characteristics of Mysterio. Some very wonderful design and aesthetic choices, good use of texture. You know, I wish I could spend more time talking about it, but because Mysterio is kind of a simple looking character, you know, there's not a ton to discuss. But they've taken those simple elements and they've elevated it to a different level with the use of texture, with the different use of paint jobs, the different types of plastic used, like that milky bubble fishbowl head, the fabric on his cloak and on his outfit itself, and of course the smoke. So there's a lot of interesting elements here. I think this makes it a real standout piece, and it's surprisingly one of my favorites, actually. You know, again, for something that's so simple, I like this one a lot, and I think that's because it is so simple and that everything is done really, really excellently. So if you want to pick up this Mysterio statue for yourself, please consider using our Amazon affiliate links in the description below. It helps this channel out and costs you nothing extra to use those affiliate links, so please use that, or go ahead and click on it anyway to take a look at some other things that are on Amazon that you might buy, and those will also translate over and help us out, again, at no extra charge for you. So that is our look at the Marvel Gallery diorama PVC figure statue of Mysterio. I really like this piece. I think it's a good price at $50 and well worth being part of your statue shelf. So until next time, I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys here next time with another statue review, action figure review, and heck, whatever else we do here on Nerd News Today. See you later.